Good morning to one and all present here. I am Aditya and I will be your host for today. For an IT career in investment banking, one should have a strong analytical and numerical and spreadsheet skills, along with excellent team leadership and teamwork skills. A lot of commitment, dedication, and high energy is required to combine with self confidence and an ability to make difficult decisions timely is required to sustain in this industry. Today we have Mr. Rupesh Saxena, Executive Director at Morgan Stanley, who has proved his strong dedication and excellent skills with leadership skills by sustaining in this industry. A seasoned professional with 16 years of experience. Sir, the team of IEEE SRM student branch welcomes you to our annual event, CONCEPTO. Sir, it's an honor to have you here today among us. All the questions will be answered towards the end of the session,
Thank
so
you.
you may type them in the Q&A box. Without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting me today. The topic in front of us is the technology career in investment banking. Before I go into the details, I would like to put a caveat here. So, by talking about the technology career in investment banking, I am doing a career counseling of some sort, right? And since I am doing a career counseling, it's very important for me to declare that whatever I'm going to talk about today is based on my own personal experiences. I have spent roughly 12 years in financial industry itself, and based on my experience, what I have observed, what I have seen happening, I'm sharing my experience. So it is in my own personal capacity, and while you can definitely use the knowledge and information that I share today, but it is, again, I'm repeating, it's my own personal experience, and it's not something a research paper or some other stuff which I'm using here. It's my own personal experience. All right. So I let me share my screen. I have prepared a few slides. I felt that if I have a few slides, possibly it is going to help you as well as me, in following what I'm trying to convey today, and also help me, on the track and reminding me, what all I really wanted to cover today. Yeah. So let me share my screen really quickly. Okay. Okay. Just one second. I think just one second. All right. Yeah. I hope all of you can see it now. So, in my last 12 years in financial domain and in working in company like Morgan Stanley, RBS, and many others, I have worked in multiple divisions. Uh, so I have worked in retail division, I have worked in corporate banking, I have worked in investment banking, I worked in credit risk division, I worked in financial information service. So I have a diverse experience of working in these many divisions. And also since I was working in an organization, I had an opportunity to know about various other divisions where I did not work directly, but I have seen people working there. I have explored those divisions as well. So this whole experience allows me today to talk about different division and opportunities that are there in investment banking or otherwise in the banking domain. So I can very well compare what kind of work is being done in one division versus other, what kind of compensations are offered in one division versus other, what kind of technologies are being used in one division versus other, and stuff like that. So hopefully when I go further, you will see what all divisions are there, and what I'm trying to say now, you will be able to relate more. So the agenda that I have today, I briefly wanted to introduce myself. I think Aditya already did that. I want to talk about a bank, a fictitious bank ABC, a large bank, how generally a bank looks like. Then I want to talk about what are the different banking divisions that are there in these kind of typical bank. And then I'll go further in detail, particularly in investment banking division. And sometimes it is a division in a bank, and if a bank is just for investment banking, it may be an investment bank. So don't confuse with that. It could be an investment banking division or investment bank if it is just serving one purpose, which is investment banking. And then I'll talk about what are the different technology career opportunities in investment banking particularly, and we'll then take some Q&A in the end. All right, so this is how a typical bank looks like. Let me make it full screen. All right. So why it is important for you to first understand how bank operates, what are the divisions, what is the reason for knowing it. Once you know what bank does, what are the different divisions, what is the specific purpose of that division, how complex and difficult work that they perform, how much revenue do they generate, how they make money, it will allow you to assess what kind of opportunity that might exist in that particular business banking division, which includes the investment banking as well. It's very important that you understand how bank is structured and details of each of the division. First division that a bank typically have is retail banking, and I'll go in detail of each of those. Second is corporate banking. Third is global banking. Fourth is investment banking, and obviously since the investment banking is our focus today, I'll go anyway, as I said, more in detail for investment banking. And the fifth is wealth management. So this is how typically a bank is divided. So if you go out and say, for example, you go to ICICI, you will and you should find all these divisions there. ICICI is a big bank. You should find all these divisions either with the same names or slightly different name, but in all they will be doing the same business. The name may be different. So for example, I have wealth management here on the right side. Sometimes it is named as private banking for high net worth individual. So those kind of difference may be there. Some of the bank which are large may have these all division, and additionally there are more divisions which are not that significant, but they may be there. The banks which are smaller may just have one division or two, or they may have a subset of what you see on the screen. So if a bank is purely a retail and corporate bank, you may see just left two divisions. If they also deal in investment banking, there is an investment banking division. If they are a global bank, you will have a global banking division. And similarly, if they deal in wealth management, they'll have wealth management division. Moving further, retail banking. So I think this is one division I think most of us are very well aware of. This is the division. Whenever somebody says bank, it refers to this division for a general layman, right? A layman, when he thinks about bank, generally he thinks about a division which is retail division. The primary services offered by this division is your checking and service accounts. So you have a saving account with your bank, you go there, you deposit money, you take money out, you create demand drafts, you do a lot of day-to-day banking, and this is the division which is primarily meant for this purpose. It is the division which is for a regular customer, all of us, right? We all use retail banking. Now, apart from saving and checking account facility, it also deals in personal loans, credit card, deposit, mortgage, many other retail related stuff. Now, how the retail banking division is making money? It's very simple. They are taking small money of individuals. So as an individual, we have small deposits. Depending on your financial status, you may have large deposit, small deposit, and any kind of deposit can be there. These banks are taking those deposits and giving some interest to you on that, and taking that money and lending it to someone else at a higher rate. And this difference in the rate offered to you as interest and the rate that they are charging to a third person as a loan, the difference between it is what is the money that they are making. Now, imagine, while individual might have a small sum of money deposited in their account, a few thousands, a lakh or two, no, in that range, an average Indian might have. But when it is about having bank account of crores of people, you can imagine the amount of money that, say, for example, a bank like SBI has in their saving accounts from each and every citizen, those who have the account with SBI. So they do a business wherein they make money with, I mean, primarily with the spread between the difference between the interest offered to the different parties. But since they are dealing with so much of money, this small percentage means a lot of money that they make out of it. All right. Then comes corporate banking. Okay, so corporate banking, if you have to imagine it, you can imagine it in a way that corporate banking is similar to retail banking. Whatever retail banking does for individuals, corporate banking does the similar stuff plus some additional services for corporate, big, small, medium firms, but not for individuals, for companies. So, for example, they also offer saving accounts and other type of accounts, but maybe you and me, whenever we have a saving account, we just have single login that we use. For corporate banking account, there may be multiple login for the same account, and each of the login may have a different role and permission of what they can do, right? So corporate banking is again offering the same services plus some additional, but very carefully tailored for the corporate needs. So for example, it offers a service in which an employer can credit salaries to thousands of the employees that are working for him, for the organization, right? So the employer can credit at the end of the month from their account to multiple accounts at a single go. Similarly, a corporate might need some loan, right, to grow their business, and then this banking division helps them in getting into certain contract in which they can generate a lot of money and which they can use to grow their business. Similarly, there are cash management and treasury related service. I'll not go much in detail about treasury and cash management unless someone is interested about it. But yeah, these are additional corporate related services. Then comes global and international banking. Now, this is an interesting banking division. Now, since we are increasingly becoming a global citizens, we as an individual uh, go across the border. Companies are doing business across the border. There are global banks, global companies, global institutions. It's an era of globalization. Now there is a specific need for doing a global banking. So suppose you want to transfer money from India to, say, London, someone in London. There are ways in which you can do it. There are regulation which India has, there are regulation which England has, and you have to abide by when you are doing that transaction. These banking division provide with you with a facility in which you can do a cross-border transaction without violating any of the rule of, no, what do we call, a rule of the land. Yeah. So if you do banking with these companies, you can be sure that you are doing it in a very legit legal manner, and you will not be implicated by any chance if later stage any investigation happens. Similarly, it offers foreign currency accounts, multiple different services, right? And one of the services, liquidity management. If you are a global company, you might have some cash in India, and you want to distribute that money that you are generating in India across multiple division, and you want to maintain at a certain percentage and some automatic liquidity management you want to do, those kind of services are also available. So this is the third division that a bank has, and it's a very interesting one. All right, wealth management. Okay, so this particular division, uh, this division deals with managing wealth of high net worth individuals. Now, who all are high net worth individual? Those people who have lots of money. So if you have to take one name in India, I think it's very easy to take one name. It's Mukesh Ambani for that matter. And if you have to more generalize it, these CEOs, CTOs of different companies, company owners, different corporate heads, these are the people who have lots of money, right? Thousands of crores of money, which they have, which is their wealth. And it's not just about cash. They have wealth or financial asset in various forms, right? Now what they need is, they need someone, since they are very focused on their own business. So for example, Mukesh Ambani is very focused on what Reliance is doing, and he may want someone a third person to manage the wealth he is generating day in day out. So then he will go to the wealth management division of a bank of his choice and let them know that the amount of money he wants them to manage, and then one of the wealth management advisor would look at the whole gamut of asset that they have and will chalk out a strategy and will also offer certain services. So for example, uh, they will obviously do investment, like they may buy some shares, they might buy some land, they may give money on loan, they may give it to some other bank, or stuff like that. In addition to that, it will also take care of optimizing how much tax is being charged. So he will distribute the asset in a way that taxation is also optimized. He'll distribute assets in a way that whenever you need, you have enough liquidity. So there are several aspects of wealth management, not just about investing somewhere. It's about more than investing. It's about services. It's about investing and a lot of services around that. So how this division makes money? The advisor who is assigned to this high net worth individual, he or she will be charging a fee to them, and that's a very hefty fee, because what they are doing is, they are managing their wealth and generating wealth for them, preserving their wealth and helping them in meeting their financial goals. So they are doing a very uh, uh, they need to do a very responsible job. So you can imagine, these are again a very highly paid individuals. Now this service is not just offered to high net worth individuals, it is also offered to institution which has lots of money and wants someone else to manage. It is offered to other corporates, or the families of these high net worth individuals, wherever there is a big wealth. And when I say big wealth, it's like $1 billion and in that tune or even above. So if you have money in that range, you would go to a wealth management division and hire an advisor or a team of advisor, depending on how much wealth you have. So I'm sure Mukesh Ambani will have a big team of advisor and not just one. So this is another banking division. Financial information services. If you see, I'll go back to the first slide. If you see, I haven't covered this division here, and there is a reason for it why I have not covered, because generally this division is not part of a bank. Generally this division, it is a separate area, I would say. It's a separate area wherein lots of fintech companies are there, and it has a very nice career opportunity. Therefore I wanted to talk about it today if time permits, but probably in interest of time right now we'll keep focus on banking itself. If we want, we can come in the end. Yeah. So I'll skip it for now, and this is one of the area I previously worked in. So it's again generates a lot of excitement, curiosity for me at least. And I'm sure once you know about it, you'll also be happy that is one thing which is different from banking. It's still related to financial information, which can be a very good career choice. Okay. Now, uh, this is the main uh, area where I wanted to focus for today. Investment banking is a division which generally, uh, uh, while I mean, it's not fair to say that investment banking is the most important division of a bank, because there are so many banks which do not have this division. They are just purely retail bank or corporate bank or wealth management bank. At the same time, this is one division wherein there is, which is generating a lot of wealth for the banks. It is one division which has lots of challenges. It is one division wherein with a small amount of money you can do a leverage based business. What leverage based business mean? You have say 100 rupees, still you can do a business which is maybe 1,000 rupee business or a 10,000 rupee business. So lots of leverage you can take. So with a small amount of money you can make a lot of money. Now if that is the case, why not everyone is doing it? Because uh, one of the primary reason is it is very risky. Markets are volatile, and especially if you look at today's situation, markets are so volatile that if you do not have your right risk strategy, right skilled people, you may end up losing lots of money. It's very risky, but a very profit making business. Not profitable, profit making business, depends whether you are able to run that business or not. So naturally, when you think about any division which has high risk, it's a complex area. Certainly, naturally, there is a proportionate reward also, right? So those who are able to run this business effectively, they are making lots of money. There are so many global investment banks out there, and they are making money in the numbers which are believe our imagination as an individual. All right. So before going further in detail, I would like to talk about particularly a few of them. As in, I will go more in detail about the technology aspect of it, what opportunities for technology. But at the same time, I would first like to go further into this division and talk about what all things they do for their customers. Okay. So first and foremost important thing as I see is sales and trading. What does it mean is there are so many clients for a investment bank, and these clients are big institution. Like if I talk about one in India is LIC. uh, there are a lot of hedge funds, there are other financial institutions. They day in day out have a need to trade in market, buy something and sell something. So for example, uh, there's a hedge fund who has taken money from their client and is trying to create a strategy in a way that they can give high return to their client. Now how they will do it? They will probably invest some of the money from that client into the market. Now these hedge funds, these financial institutions, uh, and other sophisticated financial advisors, they themselves do not maintain any platform which they use for trading. They generally depend on these investment banks to offer them a platform using which they can do their trading day in day out. That way they are able to they are able to save a lot of costs that is involved in managing such platform. At the same time, they have an opportunity in which they can switch their partner in this field and go to the one who is offering the best service. Imagine if you build something of your own. Now the only option you have is to improve. And if you do not have the army of great engineers, you may not be able to maintain or sustain. So, so they prefer going to a investment bank and asking them to execute their trade. So imagine, I mean, just to tell you the importance of these platforms, it is so. What is very critical about these platforms? The most critical thing about these platforms is timing. How much time it takes for that platform to execute the trade in market. So whenever a client is trading, a whole bunch of processing happens within the bank before the order can go in market and a share can be bought. So assume a client comes and says, I want 100,000 share of IBM. Now the trade is not straight away executed in exchange. It is validated for many regulatory compliance. Lots of background check is done for client on the fly. A lot of verification happens before it goes. So because there's a lot of processing, it takes time obviously if you are processing something. So it is very critical that whatever processing you need to do, you do it so very fast that your order can reach to the exchange in the minimum time, and the time should be, there's no 5 second, 10 second standard time. It should be better than the other bank or other platform which client can go to. So that is where the competition is lying. If the other person is executing in the time that I'm talking about, people in this team care about nanoseconds. Forget about microseconds, they care about nanoseconds even. If something they can optimize which can reduce things in nanoseconds, even then it is a very big win, because a small difference in time can totally change what price you get in market. So a client comes and says, I immediately want to buy because this is the best price I get, and I'm monitoring it from like 100 days. Today I have got the price which I wanted. Please execute. If I take 10 minutes in the market, price can go anywhere here and there, right? Once again. Therefore, it is important that we do it in time. Now, these division go to an extent wherein just to save those few nanoseconds, they sometimes set up their offices, their hardware systems just next to the exchange, just outside the exchange in a building, so that they can save time which is taken when your instruction are going electronically over the wire. They want to reduce that network distance between the system and the exchange. So they go to an extent wherein they have system placed next to the exchange itself in a building, and the moment internal system says go ahead, they are very quickly able to execute the order in the exchange in a matter of nanoseconds time. So this division deals with such systems. Okay. Now, given these kind of platforms are very critical, and you must have realized by now that what it would have taken to build such system. Therefore, it is not very easy for every firm to create. Therefore, they come to investment bank to use their system and services and pay for it, right? Uh, Second is market research and advisory. So investment banks, they do a lot of research. They are market expert. They know what is the good investment strategy, how the economy for particular country region is doing, how particular sector is behaving. Say for example, metal sector or banking sector or chemical sector or infrastructure, how or real estate, how they are going to do. So there are a lot of research that is ready made that these banking division prepare. whenever client comes, they offer those research so that client can take their own decision, whatever they want to do based on the information that is shared with them, and accordingly they decide whether they want to invest in this area or that area. Third is uh, capital raising, right? So imagine you are a new startup, for example, and you were in the market for say 10 years, and you establish yourself, right? We can take an example, say Flipkart. It is not listed. Now Flipkart, if they want to raise money, what they can do is they can come to an investment bank, say that they want to raise money, and investment banking division can help them in raising money in various ways. It could be IPO, initial public offering. I hope most of you are already aware of this term at least, which means companies first time getting listed in market. People will buy their share, therefore they will give the money to the company, and company will use that money to meet their business expansion requirements. Or there are multiple other ways in they help company in generating loan using other financial institution or bunch of financial institution. Similarly, this division also helps in merger and acquisition. So if a firm wants to acquire another firm, it is a very complex transaction. It is not a skill. I mean, from that firm's management perspective, they know okay what they want to do, but they don't know how to do. So they know that if they buy this company, it will add a lot of value to their existing business, but they don't know how to acquire it. And this is where this expertise, which these banking investment bankers have, they help them in preparing a plan, striking a fair deal for both the parties, in which they can do acquisition, they can do merger of two companies, and also they can do a sale. So if a firm want to sell the entire division or a portion of it, they can help with that service. These are the whole bunch of services that an investment bank offers. Okay. Now moving forward, I am coming to a area, I think, which is the primary area that we wanted to cover. Up till now, what we, just to recap, what we learned or talked about is different divisions and what do they offer and how do they perform business. I think it's very easy. If you Google uh, a bit, you will find more detail if you are interested. But I think hopefully you have got a basic idea of what they do. Now, whatever I talked about here in terms of what investment bank does, this by and large is going to result into some sort of trading activity. So it could be a client who already made up his mind that he want to buy thousands of shares of this company, thousands of shares of that company, or it could be a client who is looking for a market research, and once we give them research, they decide to invest in market. Again, same trading, right? So in a way, a lot of it will convert into some sort of trading activity, right? And those trading activities would result in millions of orders that this investment banking division need to process in a day. At least I would say at least 100 million orders. That is very common for an investment bank to process. So with that large volume of orders, and keep that other thing in mind which I mentioned about the sales and trading, how quick it needs to be, you can imagine the complexity involved in such system. They have 100 million orders which they have to process in microsecond, nanoseconds. Uh, uh, it requires system to be very fast. So this particular I can show is the client for an investment bank. They have made up now their mind. Either already they came up with the decision, or they made a decision based on the advisory, and now they want to place an order. Where are they going to place an order? They are going to place an order in an area which is built and managed by front office technology team. So this is a new term. I don't know, maybe some of you may already be aware, but in banking, particularly investment banking, there are three primary divisions, right? First is front office, which is managed and maintained by front office tech team. And there's a middle office, and then there's a back office. These are the three divisions, further bifurcation in an investment bank in terms of how their IT systems are divided and how their internal teams are divided. Okay, so let's talk about each of those. So the client has made up their mind. They have hundreds of thousands of orders to be traded. They will place their order electronically, or they may come through a phone call, or they may use a Morgan Stanley login to a portal and place an order, or they may integrate with or maybe the bank's uh, front office system electronically. So their system, their IT system is integrated with our IT systems, or our investment bank's IT system, and they are able to place the orders directly. Now, the team which is involved here from the business side, it is traders, investment bankers, and from the technology side, it is front office technology team who is involved. So front office is, I already explained, is all about placing order in exchange in a quick moment of time. Then comes the middle office technology or middle office in general. This is an area wherein once the orders are executed in exchange, those orders are then booked to the right account of the client, so that client can see in their accounts that whatever order they have placed, that is actually reflecting in their account. So it's very important that these orders are booked to the right account. Now imagine these big clients have hundreds of accounts. These are not people like us who have just one account. So it's very easy to just allocate. There are several accounts, there are several strategies that they have. Then when trading happens, middle office systems are the one which find out that, okay, based on the client trading and order details, what kind of account it can go to. And then based on that, they automatically allocate to the right account based on a lot of, it could involve a lot of AI, machine learning, it could involve a lot of instruction from client, it could be anything. It could be self automated booking in which system is figuring out where to book. It could be a client instruction that is processed. It also middle office also covers a lot of regulatory aspects. So once trading happens, there are a lot of market regulations which are to be met, and these systems are also implementing those market regulations. And then comes the back office, which is about uh, reporting and settlement. So at the end of the day, once the client's order is processed, either we need to take money from the client or pay them back. So if the client is buying something, probably we are going to get some money. If they are selling something, whatever money we get from exchange, we need to give it back to them. So the back office technology systems are used for settling with client and reporting. So these three divisions or these three technology teams are pretty much aligned with a business unit. They are very focused in delivering whatever business need in order to be successful in that particular business area. So if it is an equity business, they will be dealing with equity. If it is equity derivative, they'll be dealing with equity derivative trading. So it can be any security. It could plain vanilla. Simple example is stock market share, but there are other complex financial instruments which also can be traded. For example, maybe slightly more complex is future and options. Those are also traded on exchange. So just to repeat, these are the teams which are strictly aligned with business, and they are very committed to deliver what business want, and they have strict SLAs, each of them, and that they have to adhere to. Now, what other technology team or system exists in a bank? There are cross-platform technology teams or cross-platform technology systems. what these systems do, these systems are, you can imagine, reference data system. So they manage client account information, for example, right? So every client has an account. That account information is used by front office teams, middle office teams, also the back office teams. So these are the systems and the teams who are catering to all those three top business or technology teams. So client information, right? All these systems will require client information. So if you imagine it, you can imagine it in a way that they have a lot of information about the client products and stuff like that, which they need to make sure that it is distributed in a way that it can be very easily, in a very timely fashion, particularly for front office, is accessible, so that front office is still able to execute the trade while they are talking to these systems. So these systems need to be quick enough. So for example, you can imagine, say, Twitter, right? You tweet and it is immediately distributed. Similarly, these areas maintain system which allows them to maintain and distribute the information in a very robust manner and in a very timely manner. So these are the cross-platform teams. Then comes transformation tech. For now, I'll skip it. I'll come to this in the end. I would like to talk about core tech teams. Core technology teams, what do they do? These teams are not aligned to any business. Okay, so they are not directly working for a business, but they are indirectly working for a business. Okay, so if you see, again, this is a horizontal team. What do they do? This is a team which is of developers, engineers, purely, right? And who are their clients? Their clients are not the trader or investment banker. Their clients are the developer in the front office team, middle office team, or back office team. So they work on long-term strategy for the firm in technology. So for example, what how what should be the UI strategy for our investment bank, which every team should use. Front office, be it front office, middle office, back office, whichever team it is, what should be the technology that should be used, how it should be used. So those kind of decisions and the work around it is done by core technology teams. They build frameworks which are used later by these business aligned teams, again front office, middle office, and back office teams. So they purely work in the technology area, do a lot of great stuff which they then offer to the business teams, business aligned technology teams, and those teams use those framework technologies in order to implement their system. So they also decommission something and create a new framework. Then it is job of a front office technology team to use the new framework and do some rewriting and rework. Right. Similarly for other business aligned teams. So there's a lot of great technical work done in the core technology team, and which is used by others. Technology infrastructure. This is again another interesting area. Nowadays, banks are uh, moving towards cloud, and they have a lot of work happening in cyber security. Most of the banks have some private cloud, some public cloud, and this is the team who is responsible for building solutions, building cloud solution, which again they offer to business aligned team for them to be able to work. So the core technology team and along with the technology infrastructure team together work with a mission that they decide that as a technology organization, what technology should be used by the business facing technology teams They build and maintain frameworks which is used by those teams. They decommission and generate recommendations. So a very simple example, there are so many Java versions. Which Java version a investment bank should use and everyone in the bank should use, which is secure, stable, and does what we want, right? We banks do not generally go for the latest version which is released one day or a month back, because it may be unstable, and the stability is a very key concern for bank, because imagine a front office system goes down, the entire business is stopped for investment bank. So that way it is a very crucial job of technology core technology teams to decide what to do, how to do, and they are technology experts and they are not aligned to any business. Now coming to the transformation tech, in these banks a lot of transformation happens. So for example, one technology transformation could be that going forward every development should happen using Angular, right? So this is the team of technologists who are Angular expert. They take knowledge from and recommendation from core technology teams and then help those front office business facing team in making sure that they are able to transform those systems and transition into a system which is using the latest recommendation by core technology teams. So those are the people who are sitting in middle, again technology expert, but they also know business more than these technology team probably know. All right. So this is on a very high level how our investment bank technology division look like. Top is the business facing unit, and beneath that is a cross platform which is used by all technology teams, and then there are pure technology teams within, right? Now comes the million dollar question. I believe a lot of you might be interested to know is which is the best technology job, which I talked about. I talked about so many jobs here in this page, and some of you might be wondering, which one is the best one, and some of you might have guessed it by now that which one is the best one for you. So imagine how this information is going to help you. I want to talk about that. So when you are in campus, I know, and I visit a lot of campus. Generally in campus, how the companies are visiting is generally based on what offer they are making. They are in the same sequence. So imagine uh, your entire college is sitting in a campus, and a few of your friends, say 10, got selected in an investment bank, right? It could be any investment bank. Now in college days it is very hard for someone to decide which company to choose. Generally I know it from my personal experience, and based on how I see when I visit to colleges and talk to students, uh, most of the time decision is based on uh, uh, compensation, right? Which is very fair, because you make a decision based on what you know, and this is something which is very clear and black and white. You can take that decision. But what if all the 10 people are offered a job in an investment bank? How this information can help you there? So since you are selected through a campus event, you probably are offered similarly, right? In terms of compensation, it's no different. But when you join the organization, you are probably going to get a chance to decide which team you can work for, right? So generally you will go through some trainings. Once the trainings are over, you will be offered different teams in which you can go and apply and then join that particular team of your choice. And even if the choice is not given at a later stage, you have option to change teams, right? Then also you can decide where you want to go. So suppose you land up in an area which probably was not something you were looking for, but since it was something given to you, you might still change it, and this is where you will be able to apply this knowledge and make a right decision. I'm sure. So, so which one is the best job really out of all the jobs that I talked about? Uh, I would like to give a recap of what we talked about. So we have middle office, we have back office, we have front office, then we have cross-platform team. So which one is the best job for you, right? So I'm not sure, Aditi, maybe if we can have some. No, I know it was a kind of monologue in which I kind of talking. But if we can maybe have some, messaging from people, what each of you feel, or even if you want to guess which division out of these you think is best for you, or maybe a best job it can offer. Can we go to that mode wherein we can see chats and
Yes, sir. Actually, we have the questions panel. We can check in for the chats from there. I will be giving you the answers if I'll be receiving any of them.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. All right. So maybe we can take this question more on Q&A if people have it, or maybe if people want to ask, they can post it now and you can read it for me.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
We have a few questions. If you would like, I would start off with them.
yeah, sure.
We have a question from Sayoni Nag. She says that what kind of courses should students take if they want an advantage when applying to companies like Morgan Stanley? Are there any projects that we could make to stand out in this field?
All right. Okay. So I would give you a general view of it, and it applies to all the investment banks. Okay. Uh, Most of the banks look for smart people, those who are very analytical, right? And one way of judging it is uh, from your college courses is data structure and algorithm, right? A lot of focus in interviews and a lot of weightage is given to that area, right? So if you practice well in that area, I think it's no secret. If you must have heard from your seniors also. If you practice well in that area, there are fair chances that you'll do very well in interviews, right? Then other areas are your language expertise. You need to be an expert on one language, which you can focus on, and you can choose any language of your choice, and demonstrate your ability in that. There's no constraint that you need to be in Java or C++ or Python or anything, any language of your choice. And then some of the fundamental courses like operating system, right? Those also you need to demonstrate that while reading or studying in the college these courses, you could really, even it was theory, you could actually understand what they really mean, and you have at least good theoretical understanding, so it shows that you have learning abilities, right? So a lot of focus is given to learning ability also, how quickly someone can learn. So a lot of questions are asked in which you need to comprehend that question then and there, and that tells that how much learning ability you have on the spot. And then also these theoretical subjects, which is I said as in one example, your operating system, how much of it you could understand. So these kind of area, if you focus, there are fair chances you will be able to crack a job in an investment bank. And PS Algo being one of the top out of what I mentioned. While good weightage is given to the other areas also. And if you can do something on design, class designs, some simple application design, I think that is an added advantage, because that will give you an edge over others. Because a lot of people struggle in designing while they are good at data structure and algorithm, and that becomes a differentiating factor when there are limited open position. These banks come with 10, 5, 20 maximum open position, not to hire the entire campus. So there are huge competition. And then when merit is prepared, if you have design experience and you do perform well, you demonstrate it. I think you go on top of this stack.
Yes,
I hope,
I'm sure the question has been answered.
before I
Uh,
take more questions, I would like to cover last few bits onto
yes,
this
sir,
particular
sure, sir.
slide. Yeah, and then I'll take more questions. So to answer this question, which are the best jobs in investment bank? I will not give you an answer which is politically correct. No, I would like to give you an answer which probably helps you in real in making some decision. Front office jobs, obviously, you might have realized from what I said and talked about, I focus a lot on front office trading, how critical it is. So I'm sure by now you must have realized that these are very critical systems. And these are the systems which have a lot of focus from traders. These are the jobs most people who join an investment bank want to go in or want to go in this division. A lot of people want to go in front office jobs or a middle office job for that matter, right? uh, while all of these jobs are very critical for the bank, but as I said, if you are sitting in the critical path, you are sitting in a complex area, I said this in the beginning, you are accordingly rewarded also. A lot of complex work is done in that area. Then it is core technology team, as I said, core infra team. A lot of strong technical skills are required. Core engineering skills are required. So if you see those teams which are business aligned, they deliver what business asks them to deliver, right? So obviously they can innovate, they can do a lot of stuff, but it is still limited by the primary objective that they have is to deliver to the business so that business can make money and can run the firm effectively. So they are bound by a commitment to deliver to business what they are asking for in a best possible way. While these core technology teams, while eventually they have to deliver something which delivers to the business, but they can focus a lot on technology. They can do a lot of innovation. They can. These are the people who are up to speed with technology. They know what are the latest trend, what they can bring in, do POCs, they do proving, and then recommend. So they have a lot of high impact to the organization's success. Today, banks cannot succeed if they do not focus on technology. And some of the large bank, I would not name, but some of the large bank, investment bank, their CEO, their business CEO has said very openly that we are not bank, we are a technology company, just to emphasize that how important technology is. So these core technology teams are delivering technology to the business facing team, therefore doing a very great job and a very complex job here. So very distinguished engineer you will find in this group. A lot of learning and stuff like that you'll find, and accordingly you'll, since these people are highly skilled, they'll be rewarded accordingly, and that includes core infra and everything. And then again, transformation tech and others are very important, but these are the two particular area, I believe, three areas where I see from campuses when people join, they when they read more about investment bank, they end up applying in here, and it's very natural, right? Everyone wants to work in an area which is as a when you're starting your career, you want to work in an area which is very challenging. You want to prove yourself, prove to the others. So everyone is inclined to work in those areas. Now, having said that, is front office the best job and not back office? Answer is depends, right? What do you want? So when you are in campus, you may feel as I said, it's very fair also that you, whatever you take decision based on that. Most of the time it is compensation, right? But whether that is the only decision making factor, maybe for some of the folks, or maybe a large number of folks, depending on the experience level. But as you grow in your experiences, or when you learn about what you really want to do in your career, you may not go for one, you may go for others. So while front office jobs are very challenging, there are downsides to it. These teams are very lean. There are limited people in those teams. They have very strict SLAs. They have a lot of support requirement. If something goes wrong, they have to be there and solve the problem as soon as they can, because you can imagine if these systems are down, the business is stopped, right? And you can imagine what kind of panic it can create in the company, right? Even if there is a small outage, it is taken with utmost importance and gets very high visibility. Entire management gets involved, and then you are sitting in calls, long hours, solving problems. Yes, it is challenging, but it is also tiring, right? and and that is about hard work that is required. Second, it could be challenging in terms of you are bound to the business, right? And since you are front office team, you are more bound to the business, what business want. You may not be able to innovate much. You may not be do a lot of renovation and new technology work, because these systems are pretty much written stable, and people sometimes they get scared when they touch these systems, because they may end up messing up something, and it can result in a big outage and a big escalation. So there are a lot of challenge in front office job, and a lot of people work in front office job and then initially and then switch also, because there's a lot of pressure there. While maybe middle office job, it has again good challenge uh, 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 in terms of making sure bookings are fine, huge volume of data also flowing in, so your system need to be resilient to deal with it. At the same time, you are not that tied to the business, right? You're still tied to the business, but not that tied. Is core technology team the best? Yes, it is very good in terms of what it offers. In terms of learning, you learn a lot of things, and maybe a lot of you must be very excited to go to these teams. But then these are not business aligned team. Sometimes when costs need to be cut, yeah, sometimes it's not a very good environment. A cost cutting is required. It highly likely that the business aligned team are not touched, right? While those other teams are touched, because they do not directly impact the business. So there are many considerations that you might take. It could be if it is about compensation, that is what you are behind. Go for front office jobs, middle office jobs, go for core technology jobs, uh, technology infrastructure jobs. Obviously, in every group there are key people who are paid well. That's a different thing. But these are the areas which will offer you a good challenging job, good learning, good remuneration, and overall, in my experience, what a person who requires, who is starting his or her career, it serves most of the purpose. So with that, I would like to now stop here for now Q&A. I think if you have more questions, I can answer those.
Yes, sir. We do have some questions for you. I'll start off with the questions then. So we have a question from Lavya Verma. She says, what skill sets in particular are recruiters at large investment firms looking for in IT professionals?
I think I answered this question already, right? So generally, again, I can repeat, no problem. So generally, when a investment banking firm visits the campus, they have couple of rounds. Generally, first few rounds are around data structure and algorithm. A lot of focus is there, and there is a reason behind it. The reason is these firms do not limit themselves to say computer science or information technology branches. They offer opportunity to many other branches, and these are the areas which are related to, which reflect individuals analytical ability, problem solving ability. So they try to focus a lot on that. And if you are not in the same branch, if you're not in the computer science related branch, you can still learn this subject. There's a lot of help available online. You guys, I think, maybe more familiar than me. these days, I don't know what is the latest trend. I think it used to be earlier, geeks for geeks, or career cup, or there are a whole bunch of sites that can help you. Then there are rounds which are related to design, in which they give you a scenario in which you have to design a payment system, online booking system, how you design your class, how you segregate them. So some sort of designing related stuff. You can imagine if you have a subject related to UML, class diagrams, in which you have different class hierarchy depicted, and how each class is related one to many, many to many, those kind of relation. Those things are pretty much covered. And third thing is your fundamental. I mean, if you are from computer science uh, branch, then it is your core subjects. Some of the areas are touched. Most of the time, it is operating system, because interviewers like me or many others who are not in touch with those subjects only remember few subjects, and operating system is one of those. So naturally they focus on that area, because it is only subject they remember from their college days, not all of them. But yes, if you are not from a computer science background, you it depends on the interviewer. Sometimes interviewer, if they have knowledge of that area, they may talk about a mechanical subject, or mechanical engineering subject, or electrical engineering subject also, just to get a sense that how good you were while you were studying, and how much you could actually understand things when you read them theoretically, right? So that is main thing. And communication obviously is like is required everywhere, right? So no matter whether you do a business facing technology job, you do a core technology job, communication is one thing which is required everywhere. Even if you are an architect, I am going to an extreme example of a very technical area of architect, or system design engineer, or those people who purely deal in technology. Even in for those people, if you have a strong communication skills, then only you will be able to send across the message you want to give. You will be able to explain your ideas, you will be able to explain the architecture, the decision behind it, in a very effective fashion. So no matter whether you do a tech job, non-tech job, business facing tech job, non background tech job, communication is one thing which is appreciated everywhere, and that becomes a differentiating factor when you join the firm. You will see, you will not see a CEO or CTO, of a large firm who is not able to speak up. So naturally, uh, this one thing everyone work and improve over the period of time. But if you want to differentiate yourself, maybe it is one area you can focus, and it is very easy for someone to observe that the person they are talking to is having a very strong communication skills.
Okay, I am sure that question has been answered. Moving on, we have a question from Abhishek Rai. He says, what is the relationship between high frequency trading and investment banking? What does it take to be good at this field? Any specific technologies or techniques we should be learning?
All right, I would suggest you to, okay, first of all, I need to admit this is not my area of expertise, high frequency trading. This is a very specific area of algorithmic trading, and a very niche area, and I have no experience of working on it. So I wouldn't like to give you much detail on this, but I would say this area is now uh, not something which is very new, right? It is there in industry from 10-20 years. uh, a lot of restriction is has been put in by regulator on these algorithm based trading, because they end up manipulating the market. So I would suggest you read online uh, more material if you want to understand on it. I would like to park this question then. Yeah.
All right, moving on, we have the next question is from Zakaria. He says, as an executive director, what is your role like where you work? In which
All right.
field you work?
Okay. That's a tricky question, and I'll tell you why. Uh, when you work in bank, is another aspect that you need to be aware of. Banks are very strict in terms of maintaining the confidentiality, right? So while every firm you join, you will sign a document saying that yes, I'll keep things confidential, this and that. The day you join, and you never get to see that document again. In banks, it is like every other month that document comes in front of you. You have to read it and again sign it that you maintain confidentiality. So I'm coming to a point that I cannot go in much detail of what exactly is my role. I can give you a very brief idea. Uh, as an executive director, my responsibility is to work with business and prepare a year-long delivery roadmap for my division. So I am heading a division within Morgan Stanley, and my primary responsibility is to make sure that there is a year-long plan based on business priority, and team has a solid plan to deliver against it. I have lots of senior architects and tech leads and engineers who help me in delivering to those, right? So that's how it looks like. I cannot go into much detail of what specific function I perform.
All right, I'm sure that question has been answered too. Moving on, the next question we have is from Sudiksha. How much does IT professionals in this field at different levels have to interact with clients? What are these interaction topics about?
All right, that's a very good question actually. Imagine, I don't know about this set of people. A lot of time I come across an individual who says, "Oh, it's a bank. What is the role of IT?" Right? Uh, uh, whether there's a same level of career opportunity uh, for a person uh, in IT division of an investment bank. Uh, what does he do? Okay. Uh, now, I am trying to relate this thing with the question which is asked, which is specifically about the client interaction. If you, sorry, if you are in a business aligned team, and if it is a front office team, you will day in, day out talk to high profile traders, right? Which is very difficult for people to get an appointment with, right? A lot of people are behind them because they know the strategy to make money. You will get a chance to interact with them because they need you. They need you to build the system which can cater to the requirement of their clients so that they are able to effectively run business. So, as a business tech team, which is top three boxes, you will very closely work with business. Now, you will work with different business divisions. So if you are in front office, you will work with traders, investment bankers, right? Strategy makers, client advisors, right? If you are in middle office, it's about making sure once the trading is done, it is booked. So it's about operations. You will deal with people in operations, business side of operation, right? Who make sure that everything is booked fine, booked to the right account, all regulatory requirements are met. So there's a whole bunch of business people sitting to ensure this aspect of business. You will interact with them. If you are in back office, similarly, you will talk to people in BU who are regulatory experts, who are expert in settlement systems and those areas, and you will interact with them. So you, in all three jobs, you will talk to BU on a daily basis almost. Obviously, since you are going to join as a college grad, uh, you will be working little bit behind in the beginning until you get familiar with the system, and these folks, you can imagine, have very limited time, so they cannot invest time with a person who is not ready. But I would suggest relatively, I mean, my observation is relatively in banking, this transition happens very fast. I've seen, I have bunch of grads working for me. Uh, they picked up, in 6 months time they were talking to traders, right? So yes, to answer your question, a lot of interaction. But the other divisions that you see horizontal, right? For them, the clients are developers only, right? They are delivering to the technology teams. So their clients are again technology teams only. They do not interact with the actual business, right? So their clients are internal.
All right, I'm sure this question has been answered. Moving on to the last question we have from Sayoni. She says, what is the work structure like for different levels slash roles? How many hours and how often is work critical or on call or urgent? In example, this work has to be completed tonight itself for IT professionals in this field.
All right. Okay. That's a very interesting question. I think I'm sure I have heard it a few times before as well. I think I have partially answered this question. So, for example, if you are working in front office tech, okay, so let me start with this. This situation exists everywhere, right? Uh, if you are in IT, you have built a system, you offered it to your business partner. They are using it to run some business. If something goes wrong, you need to support it, right? But the point is, and if it is critical, it is causing a lot of losses for the business, then yes, it requires immediate attention, and it may mean sitting at the very same day, late and delivering. Now, everyone should be very clear that this situation will happen in any company, regardless whether it's investment banking or a pure technology company like Microsoft or a startup or anything, right? The situation is a very common situation in IT industry as a whole. Now, I wouldn't bother a lot if somebody is asking me a few times that you need to stay late and deliver things today, or you may have to work on a weekend a few times, right? It's fair because sometimes you will come late, you'll take holidays, you'll take compensatory off. It is the work is required today. I deliver on the commitment and expectation, and I take off some other day. But if you ask me that I need to stay very frequently every other day, I'll be a little worried. I think that's where this question, if I'm judging it right, is going. Now, depending on which area you are in, how critical that is, you may find the frequency is higher. So, as I said previously, if you are in front office tech, it offers great rewards, very exciting career. You can, people have a lot of craze joining that team. People flaunt it that I work in front office system. I work in system which is low latency system. It does that high frequency trading, algorithmic trading, this and that. But the fact is, a lot of support burden is there. A lot of late night sitting can be there. These are the people. I don't want to scare. Very frankly, I think nobody should be scared joining this team because it has a lot of great learning. And as a person who is starting the career, I think all of you should take that challenge because the life after having this experience will become very easy. You'll find everything very easy, right? And I think as you grow and become more senior, you have a lot more personal commitment, and you won't be able to handle this kind of situation. So I think it's okay when you're starting your career to work in some of those fields and experience. But yes, a lot of it is in front office mostly, and any team wherein you any problem can result in a lot of direct losses, or any new requirement can result in a lot of new revenue, right? So yeah, choose wisely. If you don't want that kind of if you don't have that kind of expectation, I think you can go to any of the other technology team. I think middle office, transformation tax, cross platform, Even the core technology teams are not that much under pressure to deliver. Yeah.
All right, sir.
But
I
okay,
think
yeah.
I think the question has been answered too. With this, we come to an end to the Q&A session. Would you like to wind up with the PPT, sir?
Yeah, sure. I think this is all I had.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
sharing. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. You have given us a lot of knowledge, and we have learned a lot from you today.
no worries.
And
My pleasure. Thanks, you guys invited me today.
yes, sir.
Thanks to SRM. I would encourage everyone to learn more on internet. There are lots of information available. Investment banking offers a great career prospect. Uh, so is many other areas. But if it interests you, if the best part is that you are working in an area which is about banking, finance, which you can see in real world happening right in front of you. So that makes it very exciting. Read more, learn more, and see if it interests you. And then if it interests you, I would highly recommend that you pursue some career opportunity in this area.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to an end to the session. Thank you to all the participants who have joined us here for the evening. This is Aditya signing off. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.